What up, brothers? This is your brother G World 7_D. I'm going to talk about the Moshe today a little bit and show you some pictures and images, but I want to read something to you real quick. All right. Go to the encyclopedia here. I think it's 2A something. Here we go. Here, Peru. All right. Get a little good image. The Republic of Peru is a land of contrast. High mountains, dense jungles, and barren deserts are all found in close proximity. The country is the third largest in South America and is one of the major nations bordering on the South Pacific Ocean. Peru has great natural wealth, particularly from its mineral resources, but a rapidly expanding population and serious economic problems have hindered development. The Andes, the mountain system that forms Peru's backbone, were the home of advanced Indian civilization centuries before Europeans arrived. Museums around the world display textiles, pottery, and other artifacts from these pre-Columbian cultures. In the Andes of southern Peru, there are many archaeological sites, the remains of the great Inca Empire. Tourists marvel at such palaces or places as Machu Picchu, a deserted mountaintop village that was discovered in 1911, and Cusco, one of the Inca capital cities. Land and climate. All right, land and climate. Peru shares boundaries with Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Bolivia, and Chile. With the exception of Lake Titicaca Basin in the south, its borders run through sparsely inhabited zones, deserts, mountains, and tropical forests of the Amazon region. The 4,906,224 square miles, 1,285,215 square kilometers of Peru are equal to the combined area of Great Britain, France, and Spain. Although Peru lies just south of the equator, only the Amazon region east of the Andes has a year-round heat and heavy rainfall associated with the tropics. In the mountains, temperatures drop with elevation, and the highest peaks are always snow-covered. The winter slopes of the Andes and the narrow coastal plain along the Pacific are dry. The mountains block the moisture-laden trade winds that would otherwise blow westward from the Amazon region. The cold Peru will humble current from the Antarctic flows northward along the coast, lowering temperatures in the coastal plain region. Air masses moving landward from the South Pacific high-pressure systems are cool and stable, producing clouds and fog but little rain. Peru can be divided into three regions. They consist of the desert coastal plain, 2,200 miles, 3,260 kilometers wide, comprising about 1/8 of the country. The Andes, or Sierra region, with more than a quarter of Peru's territory, and the Montana, or Amazon region, comprising about 3/5 of the country. Okay, and here's a little map showing you Peru. All right, and how it borders Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, and Bolivia. All right, and I'm gonna go get this book here. I'm gonna show you a little larger map, more of a larger color map of Peru. All right. And I'm going with a little larger map of Peru. Okay. Now here's Peru. Here's a larger map of Peru. As you see the Moshe. All right, pyramids of the Moshe. And here's a little larger map of Peru. You see it right off the Pacific. All right. So obviously the people sailed from the Pacific or on the Pacific, landed here. All right, or landed within the near the mainland, the outer part, near the sea, and obviously walked inward. You have pyramids around here, various different structures, all right? And obviously moving inward, further inward, but right here coming from the coastal region. You know, in other videos, I'll talk about how some of the oldest pyramids in the world are built near the coastal regions. They're made out of seashells. But these are pyramids of the Moshe here in America as well. The spot the area that they built pyramids. And like I said, most of the time I said that a lot of stuff is right off the coastal regions, but I want to show you some images though. All right, show you some quick images. All right, let's cover this book right here. The Moshe Portraits from Ancient Peru, or Heru. You wearing the ceremony hat, the large earrings on the side. You see some of the little African tribes with a big old plug-like earrings in the ear, both ears. And you see it here. Obviously, over the eyes right here, markings over the eyes. But you obviously see this one Negro, man. This not enough for debate. It really isn't. All right. And as I go further, I'm going to show you some more images. All right. Show you some more images. Looks like this guy wearing a kufi on his damn head, man. These Negroes, so-called black people, are all over the world. But unfortunately, your boule are teaching you that you come from African slave. That's the biggest lie that you've been told, man. Yes, there were slaves that came from Africa and also expelled Europeans who came here. But to say that black Americans are descendants of African slaves, that's misinformation. I've said it before. Most of us are descendants of the Aboriginal blacks here and black Europeans. Now, this is looking, he's wearing this, like you see a lot of Muslims wearing this. It could be to protect their face from the desert, the wind blowing a lot of the desert sand in their face. So this could be a form of protection, as well as could be some Islamic, a lot of more Islamic over here too. Islam is over here, or what you call Islam. All right, but you see this over there, wrap over their head. All right, this is so goddamn obvious, man. This is it. My goodness, man, this stuff is so obvious, man. It's getting to be comical. It looks like a little face and jar, the phallus symbols coming up right here. All right. Let me show you more pictures of them. Because this stuff, once you see this stuff, and the more and more research you do, you're going to really start questioning the African narrative that you brought on here in a slave ship. I mean, that's just not accurate. That information is just not accurate. We've been here, and it's sad that, your so-called academic Negroes are still pushing that lie. They still push that lie that you came here on a slave ship. I mean, come on, man. This is self-explanatory. This right, that look like a Negro on 47th Street from Chicago. If you see, maybe walking to Kenwood Liquor. I shouldn't say it like that, but look at this, man. This is so obvious. There's another image, same person, different angle. This is so obvious, man. These pictures are so obvious. Who was here? Who was here in this land? But you get, like I said, your mainstream Negro will deny this and continue to tell you that you're a slave from Africa. This is why it's very important to do your research and not spend your money on frivolous, stupid stuff, man. You really need to do the in-depth research on who you truly are. There's nothing about these people mestizos. Look at the earring and the nose. All right. It's nothing, like I said, there's nothing about these people mestizos. The original people in these regions were darker skin because of the area's warmer climate. Look at this. This Negro smiling. Yeah, my goodness. This Negro smiling. Some more images. I want to show you majority images, and I might go back to that page and read a little bit there. All right. You notice they had a little headdress on their head. Like the ancient Egyptians had like a little headdress, ceremonial type of headdress on their head. I said, this is self-explanatory, man. And the little full ass lips and everything, and the noses, and the facial features. It's obvious who they were, you know. But like I said before, once you stuck in Pan-Africanism and you just think that you brought over in a slave ship, you know, this is the nonsense that you get. Yeah, that's nonsense that you get. You don't fully know who you are or know anything about your true history because you've been told that you're just a slave. This is very important to learn this information. Very, very important for us to do this. All right. So, like I said, when you constantly hear Negroes talking about that 1619 stuff, just throw that in the garbage, man. Throw that stuff in the garbage because this stuff doesn't make any sense. And it's a lie. It's a lie. That's not your history. Your history go way beyond that. You know? And as long as you listen to your oppressor dictate to you your history, you're going to be lost. And unfortunately, so many of us are lost due to the fact is that we just believe or go by what mainstream media or mainstream historical outlets have given us. And as long as we go by that, we will be ignorant of who we truly are. Very ignorant of who we are. The image look like a damn pharaoh from Egypt, man. That little image right there. That look like Pookie. That image is like Pookie. There's some images out there earlier. It looks so real too. When you look at the coloring, I mean, like I said, these some Negroes, man. The coloring and everything. Some of them may have like a little reddish brown hue. The facial look and the realization of these images, man, are so beautiful. But like I said before, when you just constantly looking in one direction, saying that you was a slave and not really digging in deep instead of your true history, then you will forever continue to be lost. Period. That's obvious, man. This is so obvious. It's comical. This is comical, man. And whenever I hear these niggas talking about taking DNA tests, they come from Africa. I'm just laughing. Just laughing. And they still pushing that damn lie. It's really sad and ignorant. Listen to Umar Johnson just babble that he got a new title they want to call himself. That guy's a fool, man. Obvious. Well, Johnson cannot explain the way it is. No, he just sits and say, "Oh, these some shipwreck Africans." As a lot of your Pan Africans would say. Extremely ignorant, man. Extremely ignorant. He'll just tell you that these some shipwrecked Africans. Ooh wee. Oh man, it's so comical, man. And it was like I said before, so-called black people come in very different facial features and hair textures. All right, but when you look at these images, these obviously show you who these Negroes were. I mean, they were just some straight up Negroes, man. They're nothing else but some straight up Negroes, man. But when you, like I said, when you've been bombarded with a lie, a fairy tale, saying you just brought here old slaves, and that's what you entitled to be lied to. It's the best thing you do when you just show these images. Enough said. And you try to explain away and make these other goofy ass comments. But when you can show the images, you actually show the people, show them being who they really were, or what they once is. This is goddamn obvious, right? This is so realistic looking right here. So realistic looking. So realistic looking. I showed you pictures of the Incas with Negroes, the Mayans were Negroes. I showed you the pictures before, but yet, like I said before, you still have Negroes who want to deny this, dude. It's sad. Look like face paint, obviously. I mean, this guy looks like one of my cousins, man. So we have to really, really start digging into our true history and stop allowing outsiders to try and tell who we are. We have to know everything. And they look like image of the serpent up here. See, when you look at the head, he had a serpent. The head wrap they wanted, you see this image of the serpent on it. And his too. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome pictures. You see, most of our people are not exposed to this, not exposed to these images, don't care to want to expose them to these images. Because, like I said before, you looking in the wrong direction when it comes to your history. You looking going to Africa. You need to be looking here in the Americas. Definitely have to be looking in the Americas. Because your history is here. Your history is here in America. It's in your face. Now, I've always said in my other video, your history stuff is right under the fingertips. Under your fingertips. It's right here in your face. Right here in your face. You just got to want to grab it. Right? And once you grab that history, it's a little blur on that one. Well, yeah. Once you grab that history and get all that knowledge, it opens you to a key to another world. And you can see the ancient world that once existed here, which we ruled here. So the stuff I'm showing you it's old information, but it's been suppressed. They put it in academic books to basically keep you ignorant or keep it away from you. All right, putting these academic books to keep it away from you. And when you go to school, you're not even thinking about this, man. You don't even think about looking at this or even trying to study this. You just basically going to get your degree. It mostly being programmed to just get a degree or go into a particular field, but not actually taught to really study and research information. And that's really sad. So you have this bourgeoisie class of niggers who will sit up there and do anything everything they can to basically keep the masses ignorant and uninformed about true history, and want to continue to keep you as a slave from Africa, which is wrong information and it's bad information. But I don't expect much from them, and I've grown up around them all my life, and I can tell you that these little goofball Negroes aren't about anything. Like I said, they show these images of the dude smiling and his brother smiling, them teeth showing. Moshe ceramic portraits almost always depict individuals wearing headdresses. The headdress exhibit an amazing degree of variation in size, form, and complexity in material used in their construction. Nevertheless, careful analysis revealed a basic list of components that were used, either individually or in combination, to produce the multitude of fashion that are portrayed. The headdresses depict on the Moshe portraits allow us to reconstruct how Moshe headdresses were made into ancestors, what they can tell us about the individual who portraits wore them. Headcloths. The primary components of Moshe headdresses were headcloths that were folded, wrapped, and tied in distinct ways. You see Negroes still doing that today. They were sometimes worn without any additional element, but they were often elaborated with headbands, tassels, feather ornaments, metal ornaments, or head rings. Like the Negroes used to wear them little, what do you call them stuff over their head? Do-rags and stuff like that. Type of headcloths, the simplest headcloth, which we call type A, consisted of a rectangular panel of plain cotton cloth that was folded or rolled into a band wrapped around the forehead and tied at either the front or back of the head. An unusual variation of type of A headcloth was worn by only a single individual in the sample, but he wears it all of his portraits. In addition to being wrapped around the head, a band cloth was laid over the top of the head once, tucked under the horizontal wrapping, and then brought back up to the top of the head where it was tied. It is not clear whether this headdress was created with one strap of cloth or two. You can see the elaborate headdress, and I showed these images already. All right. The most common headcloth on the Moshe portraits is the one we call type B. It covered the entire upper part of the head and encased most, if not all, of the hair and back in its simplest form. It consisted of single rectangular panel of plain cotton guys or open plain weave fabric. Right. And I'm going to stop there. I just want you to see the pictures, and I read a little bit about the headcloth. I may do another part 2 to this, but I want you to, brothers and sisters, when I mentioned the Moshe before in that book written by the African guy, it talks about how the Moshe, I showed you images of the Moshe building ships, that they had the knowledge of technology to build boats. And I showed you just in this video by the Pacific Ocean. I believe that they sailed, into the Americas, where they were all within the Americas, and they sailed over to Africa. yeah, I'm gonna go there. And they sailed to different places, spreading technology. These very different groups of black people trading amongst each other. But I showed you before in my earlier videos that they had boats. That was another one of my books. That they had some form of boats that they use, that they were able to travel in. All right. Moshe Portraits from the Ancient Peru. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. I love you. G World 7 _ D. And I'm back at you. All right. Peace and love.